This government meeting is brought to you by Eastworks and our local cable subscribers.
Okay, should we call the meeting to order? Calling the meeting to order. Cool. At 6:02. Any members of the public? Doesn't look like it. Nobody joining. Cool. Somebody does join. Somebody's gonna have to grab the keyboard and mouse because it's over there, and I didn't bring it over here. So I'm good to life. Okay, so approval of minutes. Everybody get a chance to go through the minutes? Yes, more or less. They look good. Great.
And we approved the minutes.
It has been moved.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded that we approve the meeting minutes for both April and May. All in favor? Connie? Oh, okay. I was gonna say all opposed. Am I gonna get? We're gonna debate.
No, it was something that I just came through about everything going on.
Yeah. I totally understand. Wasn't trying to.
Yeah, sorry about
that. Okay, I think we're gonna have a relatively short one this time, between barely having quorum and me not being all there and stuff. So real quick, we now have a plan for how we're going to put a website online. Renee has purchased a URL, so I believe it's going to be easthamptonbees.org. I don't remember off the top of my head, but I'll send that out when we're done. First, we have to verify that we're using a slightly more technical approach in order to try and make sure that the website is transferable, downloadable, all this other stuff. If we went with like most of the commercial drag and drop websites, you get locked in. So if it doesn't work out for you, or you stop, or they raise the price on you, which usually happens, it gets to the point where like maybe volunteers aren't going to want to pay for it anymore. So we're going with a slightly more code-oriented version, which is unfortunate, but also it means that it's pure HTML and we can host it like literally anywhere, anytime. So if we don't, like right now, it's going to be on GitHub Pages, which is free. In the future, if we decide to move it someplace else, we'll be able to do that easily. So that's why we decided to go the more technical route. I have some work to do in terms of improving the navigation on the site, and then we'll probably want to do a little bit of work on, we can do a little bit of work on the looks, for which is not really my strong point. I'm more of a does it work and it's good enough person. But so if anybody wants to get in on that, you're welcome to, or we can wait until the last step to be sort of official on this is to make sure, because I want at least 2 eyes on this at all times. So the last thing is going to be making sure Renee can get comfortable with the slightly more technical approach. I'm very confident she can. She's very confident she can, but we're not going to put a pin in it and stuff until we get to that point.
So for purposes of our notes, if I just say that we're taking a somewhat more technical approach that offers greater flexibility in hosting, does that?
Yes.
Yeah, I like that.
That covers. Okay. Yes, that covers.
Okay, moving along.
So, and I mean, if anybody wants to see the very, very rudimentary version, I can send it to you. Otherwise, I'll tell you when it's published. I do think I've already done one post on there. I do think it'll be a lot easier for us to have things like a page where we send volunteers for like how to prep for an invasive removal, and we'll have constant links, that's really easy to update. And so I think it's going to be, at least for me, because this is the way my brain works, I think it will be easier for me to get information out there, which should make it easier for us to like try and gather stuff. So hopefully that works for everybody, or at least some of us, but we'll see what we get. The next item was recurrent community meeting. So Renee and I were talking when she was over work, and we were talking about the website, and we were thinking that in order to make sure we could try and get like, we were thinking that like one of the things to really be able to make this work is to really try and build the volunteer base. In order to do that, we think we need to be a lot more consistent about when we do stuff. And we sort of had the light bulb go off that like, even if something is happening like the work on the Manhan where we couldn't get to the sites that we have set aside for doing invasive removal, if we still have people show up and have coffee together, that still counts, even if it's not doing anything. So we were kind of thinking that and she was volunteering, or she said she would be willing to potentially lead that a little bit more, because my life is sort of very unscheduled, so it's hard for me to schedule far in advance, and her life is very scheduled, which means scheduling in advance is required. So she was going to pick a few dates that there is on high-low, if anybody wants to give some feedback on what dates might work for you. That's available. She's on vacation, and we won't really check her to be trying to choose dates until she gets back. But and so anyway, so the plan is now sort of to have coffee at 10 or something on the same Saturday or Sunday of every month, and then go out for invasive removal at 11 on the same Saturday and Sunday, assuming the weather and the volunteers are there. And if they're not, there'll be a couple of us that have some nice coffee and go home. And that was all of that. And Sophie, over to you.
Yes. So I can't remember if I mentioned this the last. Have we met since Cultural Chaos?
No.
So I haven't mentioned it. We set up a Cultural Chaos with the Girl Scouts. Yeah, I guess not. We set up a Cultural Chaos with the Girl Scouts and raised $200
Nice.
for the garden, which was awesome. People were really interested, and we got a ton of email signups and names for people that want to be yes.
What fundraising method did you guys choose?
So we ended up I can't say selling milkweed because we weren't selling it. We were giving away milkweed at a suggested donation. And people were really excited about it. People were like, oh my God, I've been dying for this. I've been looking for it, asking a lot of questions. So the milkweed went really fast. And then people still donated even once the milkweed was exhausted. People still came and dropped a few dollars in our jar and sent some Venmos. So people were really excited about the project. I think the more kind of public facing outreach that we do, the more support that we'll get. So that was great. I've been waiting for kind of crazy end of fiscal year stuff to settle down a little bit before setting up a donation account with the auditing department. But once that's all set, thank you for that. You're welcome. You're welcome. Don't want to put anything more on anyone else's plate, especially for $200. So once that's kind of things are a little bit more stable around here, Angela, who is the Girl Scout troop leader, is kind of hanging on to the money, and then she'll send it over to the city as a donation. So that was very successful. And I think the Girl Scouts want to do their own kind of mailing list outreach for the garden as like a part of their project. So they have the list of names. I also took the list of names and put it on the eco newsletter because it was kind of a combined sign up. Do you want to hear about the garden and do you want to hear about similar events? So we got like 30 something people signed up for that.
Thanks.
It's great. So the next steps for that, the grant through the Keep Massachusetts Beautiful organization, that is due on the 31st of July. I have, I think, a pretty solid kind of narrative outline. The only sort of remaining things where I could maybe use a little bit of help is in terms of what specific plants to suggest, like based on the location, based on the.
Can you move up mouse?
Yeah.
Let's bring it over here. You just want to hand me the icon.
Here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or just use it as my fiddle toy.
Yeah. So just in terms of like what makes sense for the space, I kind of have some very general bullet points written up about why native plants, obviously, and the benefits that has. But that more kind of specific information, I think, will really help kind of strengthen the whole narrative. So
do you have that as like a Google Doc or something?
Yeah, I think right now I have it shared with, I think, you and Jenny and Angela.
Okay.
So seriously, feel free to go in and add anything. I'll probably reach out one more time for any final edits before July 31st. And Jenny and I were going to chat a little bit about it a little more. So, but it seems very casual in terms of the application process. It's just like a form on their website. I have all of the requirements for the narrative written on that doc. So I don't really see why we wouldn't get it. But yeah, so kind of identifying some more funding sources would probably be the next step, and then
Just as a ballpark.
Yeah.
How much are we allowed to ask for?
$500 is for the grant. So it's, if you are a member, like if you have a chapter, a local chapter in your community, you can get up to 2,500. We do not have a local chapter. I've looked sort of in the preliminary stages into what it would take to get a chapter established, and it seems relatively, I don't want to say complicated because like we could do it, but there is a lot involved in like actually being able to prove that you have an established chapter in the community. But I think that they run these grants every year. So if we did have an established chapter, we could get up to 2,500 through this grant every year. So might be worth kind of having the conversation about in the future. But for now, it's 500. So that's that on the
Did,
garden project.
Renee had seen another potential garden building grant that she was gonna send to you. Did she
Oh.
send it to you?
I did not see it.
I saw that too, and I was really glad that Renee found it. 'Cause
Oh,
I was
yeah.
here to mention that as a possibility.
That had a deadline of like August 15th,
Okay.
I think. And the biggest thing that I think would be a little bit difficult would be there was a maintenance plan, like you had to have at least a 2-year maintenance plan involved.
Okay.
But also, you know, I thought maybe we could like talk to DPW and try and usurp the new plantings that are all daylilies and literally invasive multi-floor rose that I would have thought was illegal too. We were just having all the fun.
You push the switch.
Thank you.
You just had to get close to it.
I can read this into the record if that would be helpful.
Absolutely.
Okay. So this is from Blue Stem Natives, which is a nursery in Norwell in Eastern Mass. They're great. I've like worked with the owners a little bit. And they're offering Habitat Project giveaway, a chance for one Massachusetts-based organization to receive $500 worth of native plants from Blue Stem to kickstart or expand a pollinator-friendly garden.
Awesome.
They will provide up to 50 one-quart pots or 130 landscape plugs or a mix of the two, the equivalent of $525 in plants, and personalized assistance in selecting the species for your site and goals.
That's awesome.
Yes, applications are open now until August 15th, and the winner will be announced on September 1st.
Awesome.
So I assume would they give us the plan? Would that happen this year or would that happen next
Sounds
year?
like it would happen. I mean, that's a great question, but my guess would be that they would announce the winner and then we could do a fall install.
Right.
I don't know what timeline.
Oh, there was one other thing about that is you have to go pick up the plants. So you'd have to like organize a caravan at Eastern Mass.
$525 of plants is not a lot of plants.
I could do that in my car.
Okay.
Or one of the DVW vans.
I'm sorry. what
It
was the
takes me
location
2 trips
again?
in my car to get that many French plants.
Okay.
I'll
Ask me
say I
how
can
know.
take one of the transit vans. Yeah.
If you're buying from a sawmill.
Landscape plugs is like a tree and a half.
Oh yeah, if it's the landscape plugs, yeah, sure. So,
Where where
They're
is Blue Stem
in
Natives?
Norwell.
Norwell.
where is Norwell?
Let's see if this is, I wish my phone went this way. I'm too used to doing the state of New York, which has like a really
Yeah.
nice hand system. They're south of Boston.
Yeah.
They're South Shore.
Not to be confused with, there's a Norwood too, right?
Mhm.
Norwood, Norwell.
And then we have Norwalk and
Oh, of course.
whatever.
Norton.
Yep, Northwood.
Okay.
So would you mind forwarding that to me? Because I don't think that I have it, but I see my Wi-Fi
I
is
saw
weird
it
right
on
now.
Instagram.
Okay.
So would like screenshotting it be a good way to
Yeah,
get it?
Yeah,
that's totally
yeah.
fine. And then I can just like look it up once I have it.
Yeah, and Renee saw it like on her way up for vacation, so
Yeah.
Okay.
she did make it.
Yeah.
They just posted it last night, so we're not like
Oh, wow.
behind the times here. Yeah, they're great. And if we have, I mean, if there's one award that feels like maybe a little bit of a long shot.
For sure, but absolutely
But-
worth trying. And if we already
absolutely
have
worth trying.
kind of a
Yeah,
bones
Right.
application. we
it's
can
mostly
just fill it.
property.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. I haven't looked at the actual application, so I don't know how rigorous it is. But if we were awarded it, then we would have $700. It's pretty crazy.
And then we got the other one.
Have they
Yeah,
and or
it's
you and or DPW picked the spot for the Girl Scouts yet?
No.
Okay.
So the last development with that was when you and I went and looked at it. And I think that either you had mentioned that you and Jenny might take a ride out there, or Jenny and I could take a ride out there. to confirm it. I honestly, the impression I get from Greg is wherever we want to do it,
Yeah.
it's fine, just let him know.
Sure.
I liked the idea of having it on both sides of the walking
Yeah,
path. I think
that's where
really
I'm
cool.
leaning, to be honest.
Yeah,
Like, I'm not sure it is ecologically sound.
Okay.
But from a like ease of people
Yep.
seeing the plants stuff, I think it's
Yeah.
probably the best.
right.
In a broad sense, what are we talking about?
You know where the sort of the swale pond is,
Yeah. On the
below,
Manhattan.
on the Manhattan below the Eastworks or whatever, the path that leads down around that swale area. We were thinking like either side of it, you know, basically giving them like a patch on both sides of that so that you'd walk right through the middle of the natives.
And I think the Girl Scouts want to have a strong education focus and really be able to use this like a demonstration of what you would be able to do in your own yard. So the more accessible, the better, I think. But as long as that's like ecologically appropriate, I say we go for that.
Yeah, plants are plants. It's
Yeah.
gonna be good.
Yeah.
It's not,
Okay.
you know.
But we
whatever.
wanted to,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
be
I think
happy and
it's-
sustained, so.
That's sort of a little gravel path,
Yeah.
right? And they go
Yeah.
down
Yep,
and then.
there's a little bench.
Yeah, we were literally thinking on either side of that gravel path.
Great, especially because that might give us an opportunity to do kind of a transitional like plant choice if it's like edging on wetland on one of the sides. So you could really showcase like if you have a wet area, you could
Yeah.
do like this. If you have, I mean, I guess it's all like relatively wetland margin adjacent, but I think that could be a really nice opportunity.
I think the other nice thing is for people who might be allergic to bees or something like that, they don't have to venture down, but they can continue to stay on the path. So just as a accessibility
Sure.
piece, I think that's a really smart location.
And built-in accessibility because like a wheelchair or something
Yep.
can go down there as well.
Mhm, exactly.
Another thing we were thinking that may not have gotten mentioned was, I believe Greg had said that he wanted for his landscaping crews to make sure that there was an edge. So they
Correct.
didn't know.
Yep.
And a suggestion that I had was just to have them do a wattle fence around the edge because it's just sticks. And I actually, and ecologically great. And I think they look great personally, but
Be a fun like morning community project to build one.
not only that, but like for the Girl Scouts, it's just like, hey, we're going to be building the garden in 2 months. Collect some sticks and bring them when you
Yeah.
come to do
Yeah.
the garden.
Someone have a willow tree.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea, especially if we don't get the money. It's a wicked, like, easy,
Yeah.
cheap, fun thing. So I'm totally on board for that too. So yeah, that's all I have in terms of the garden for right now. I think Angela is on vacation right now. Maybe when she gets back, if she has a free hour or two, I can take her over to the area. I've sent her pictures and so she's seen it, but she hasn't been to like fully. I don't think that she would have any opposition to it, but just to give her kind of a better idea of what we're thinking. So the next thing I wanted to chat about was a compost demonstration through the Eco Initiative. It was originally going to be a farmer's market demonstration, but there was some uncertainty with the farmer's market for a while. And while that was kind of all getting figured out, we had moved it over to the library annex in like the little area out front. So it's with this company called Banana Compost. And they offer, basically they table at events and they do demonstrations for at-home composting, you know, providing information about what's able to be composted, and then are there as a resource to answer questions and everything like that. So they're going to be doing they're going to be there from 11 to 1 on the 2nd of August, which is Saturday morning. And they'll be doing sort of like incremental demonstrations for people who walk up. And then the planning department will have tabletop compost bins available for purchase. And because we have a revolving fund for, I think, outdoor compost bins, like the big tubs, and then also the little tabletop ones. So we'll be there to provide those to people. And the library has been really awesome when it comes to like being able to leverage their resources and stuff for the planning. And Ellie Palmer over at the library has offered to put together the promotional materials for the event stuff as well. So they mentioned that they will try to get the materials to me by the end of this week. I'm not sure when the Bees newsletter is planning on going out, but that might be a thing to add to it.
Someday, I
Um,
think it's someday.
Okay.
That's when that's
if
going
it's before August 2nd, we'll add it on and.
It's like a great goal.
Sure.
Set that as our next, potentially bustable timeline deadline.
Well, now I have 30 additional people on the eco mailing list, so they will get it as well, but I think these
Mhm.
newsletter will be
Yeah, yeah.
for it.
Absolutely.
And I also wanted to ask if there's anything that you guys wanted to promote at that event. We could make it more of a broad
Yeah.
composting plants kind of thing.
The only thing I can think of, and maybe August is a good time to start doing outreach for like fall garden maintenance
Okay.
practices. Just thinking about starting to get the word out about like leave the leaves and don't, don't need to do too much like summer
Yeah.
cleanup. And I feel like that maybe ties into like compost waste.
Absolutely.
Actually leave the leaves
Yeah.
right with the composting people where people are gonna be cutting that much.
Yes.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So
Totally
that
agree.
could be a potential.
You can throw some leaves in there to help kickstart the compost, but mostly just leaves.
Where is banana composting based?
That's a great question. I want to say either Northampton or Hadley,
Oh, okay.
but they
They're local.
service Easthampton. Yeah. I'm not, and so when I get those materials, I'll definitely send them over.
Yeah.
Okay. One sort of non-agenda item that's minor, the gentleman who worked at the Bee Lab someplace in Massachusetts, he and I have been going back and forth like all summer about trying to set something up. I suggested that rather than, we had initially talked about a bee walk, but we don't really have a good location that is likely to be chock full of many species of native bees. I mean, anybody who has one is more than welcome to recommend one, but also he's very, very busy and I've been having trouble. Like that, I think to me would include maybe like a pre-walk and some other stuff, so it might be kind of hard. So I was thinking maybe just falling back to a talk that he could give. But I am also like actually right now overwhelmed with work and some other stuff going on. So if anybody is interested in helping or taking over coordinating that, that would be cool. And similar thing, the lovely lady from Lathrop that came out has said that she would be willing to give her presentation as a public event, which I think would be really cool just from our like Xerces Society requirement. And I thought it was a great presentation and I thought that would be really good for just like a public audience. So the woman from Lathrop that came and gave the presentation. Yeah, sorry. Yeah. So, but again, I haven't followed up on that as much as I should. So if anybody has a little bit more summer free time and wants to consider that, then that would be cool. If not, then we can table it and hopefully do it once life calms down again. Those are the only other two things I had. And yeah, we should probably talk. Those of us who write things in the newsletter should talk and like try and actually get that out the door. And yeah, does anybody else have anything else that y'all would like to talk about? Oh, and then if we don't, we'll go ahead and do the last thing on the agenda there. The important last thing.
I think just a couple questions about things that we've talked about that I should have typed in earlier. For the community meeting, I think that sounds great. Do you have a like ballpark of when you would be thinking about starting that off?
Oh, the monthly thing?
Yeah.
I'm kind of hoping August, to be honest.
So that
Because I would love to potentially get, I mean, I know I talked about getting an invasive removal up and then I just haven't been able to like schedule for stuff. But it would be really lovely to do some knotweed stuff. And now that we have access to the Manhattan again, like that massive forest over in the area from which Ed Zonobody stole trees from us would be super nice.
That would be nice to be able to include in the newsletter if we
Yes.
see.
Yes.
So, and I realize Renee's on vacation, so.
Yeah, we should be able to pick that, like, especially if anybody gives us feedback, because I think she'll be happy with that. Like, I would guess Monday or Tuesday, she's back this weekend.
Yeah, I would love to get back on the newsletter train.
Yeah, I
Continue
mean,
to shoot for
so would I.
the month or something.
Yeah.
I know we have a bunch of good stuff in there from the previous draft and maybe some of it is still relevant. I have no idea, but very potential. That sounds great. Are we allowed to solicit donations through the Girl Scouts? People who weren't at Cultural Chaos want to support that project?
Like having some online way that they could.
Yes. Like, is there a way to include that in the newsletter that's on board?
Really good question. So the way that we collected electronic donations at Cultural Chaos was literally just through Angela's Venmo, like her personal Venmo account.
Because if she could provide the like QR code for that or something.
Okay.
We could, I mean, I just don't know what the rules
yeah,
are,
yeah.
but if it's possible to.
I mean,
include
I
that.
think as my understanding of it, and the Girl Scouts might have a different kind of approach, but I think that as long as it is presented as a donation, transparent about what it's for,
Right.
it should be fine.
If it's going through the Girl Scouts, it's not going through us.
Right, it is,
That's
yeah, it's going
okay.
through the Girl Scouts. I spoke with the mayor about kind of donation logistics stuff for Cultural Chaos, and she wasn't really concerned about collecting Venmo
Okay.
donations because it'll get donated to the city. It's just being collected by an individual that will get donated to the city. But I can double check on the specifics of posting a QR code for a Venmo and have that be like a central location that people can send money to.
Great.
We're talking how many people carry cash around with them at Cultural Chaos. I think people, we got like $180 of our donations for cash, so.
Just as a
Yeah.
side note, it is helpful to have other means of people donating besides on their phones.
Right.
I was talking to the Commission on Diversity today, or Disability today, and for some people, it's really
Right.
difficult
Totally.
and or not accessible at all. And so I just want to kind of throw that out.
Totally. And if we had like a mailing address, a PO box at City Hall, people could send cash. I would be willing to collect it, bring it to the auditor's office. So yeah, just coming up with like a plan for donations that are not event specific.
So I just wanted to name that.
Thanks.
You said you had 2 questions. But so far you asked 1.
Thank you. As far as the 3 names that you got, could we also add them to the news list?
I don't see why not. I mean, that's not like it was so funny. People didn't even look at what they were signing their email on. They literally just walked up and wrote down their name and email. I was like, awesome. Most people were having a conversation about it, but some people just kind of like.
I mean, one of the reasons I like the email list provider we chose is because it's 0 administration for us if they want to unsubscribe.
Opt out,
So-
yeah, right. Right, and I mean, Eco especially doesn't send like that many emails, but like, yeah. So, yeah, I get that, I can put that to you. Yeah, no problem.
All right. Anybody else with any last thoughts?
I may have something to share soon. Just saying something exciting is coming
Oh,
up
not a fun
that I'm not ready to share yet, but I feel like it could be good for us.
Like the sound of that.
We have 30 minutes to sit here and wait for you to tell us.
Yeah, right.
Not closing this meeting.
I'm not trying to be dramatic. I just like,
No,
I'm
no,
not
no,
sure if it's like the right.
Yeah.
Okay,
All
well,
the more motivation to book the next.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Planned out.
and speaking of which, it is time to be reminded to book the next meeting. All right, so what days and times work for people? We put up the city calendar so I can just easily cross.
Yeah, I mean, how about the 14th or the 21st of August? Those are both Thursdays.
Yeah, I have no idea about.
I cannot do the 14th. That's like the only time, and specifically at 6 p.m. in August that I can't do.
I could do either, so time to me.
What was the date again, sorry?
14th or 21st.
21st. So I guess we're paired down to the 21st. Yeah.
Is the 7th out?
Just make sure community preservation room is not in the
I
city.
couldn't do the 7th, but I mean, I can zoom in.
Do we have, I mean, I don't think we have anything we're trying to make like an official group decision on earlier, so I'm not sure that like we really need to meet earlier. So I think the 21st is probably okay. Like if,
6 p.m.
yeah. Okay. I will. Loading my email. What do I have to like go find my? Oh, good. I can just send the agenda request right now. Okie dokie. Now if that is done, would anybody like to make a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
So moved.
I'll second.
So seconded. All in favor?
Uh,
Aye. Okay. It's been moved and seconded. We're adjourning the meeting.
This government meeting is brought to you by Eastworks and our local cable subscribers.